Gang, is Rob, and in today's video, I'm gonna help you pass Network Plus. So let's get straight into it. Don't want to waste any of your valuable time. So if it's your first time rocking out with me, I'm Rob. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I've been in tech for almost 20 years, and I help people just like you pass certifications and start awesome tech careers. So in this training right here, I'm going to show you what Tech and the Network Plus is like and give you some tips, some tricks to pass the Network Plus. Why should you listen to me? Like I said before, I've been doing this for almost 20 years. I got a bunch of industry certifications, Network Plus being one of them. I've helped over 15,000 people just like you pass the Network Plus, and I'm just an all-around good guy. And I'm a former U.S. Army Staff Sergeant, and I helped fight for your freedom in Afghanistan. So if it's your first time rocking out with me, what I do is I give you a scenario, right? So some scenario-based questions. I let you get some time to figure out what you think the answer is on your own. Then I give you the answer and explain to you why that is the answer. If you stay around to the end of the video, I actually give you the steps and a process of what you need to do to become one of my students in the Certs IT Hero program, and also the opportunity to get access to our practice test vault. Enough about me. Let's talk a little bit more about you. Before we get into it, none of this stuff is possible without you guys. I want to give a special shout out to my students and all of the channel members here on YouTube. I'm glad that we have, built a really good, strong community, and it's appreciated that you entrusted me with your training needs. So right now, make sure you got a pen, a piece of paper, pencil, something to take notes on, just to make sure that you get your reps in, right? All right, so the Network Plus. Who is the Network Plus really for? What is it all about? Now, if this is your first certification, I wouldn't recommend a Network Plus being your first certification. You can still stay here. You can still rock out with us just to kind of see how much of a gap in knowledge that you actually have. But I would just say that you shouldn't start here. But if you have some other certifications, if you're actually already working in networking, this may be a good spot for you to start. So it's an industry standard credential that validates foundational networking skills. It covers network infrastructure, troubleshooting, security, wireless and wireless technologies, protocols. And Network Plus is awesome for people that are interested in networking. If you want to be a network analyst, you're on a road to become a network engineer, this is an awesome place to start. So some of the positions that you may have afforded to you, may have the opportunities to land, can be entry-level network admin, IT support, system administrator, security analyst, field technician, and expiring IT professionals. And also, this is an awesome spot for people that are looking to get Security Plus. So my students find that when they pass Network Plus, the Security Plus is a lot easier. So for the actual certification, when you're actually taking the actual exam, CompTIA suggests that you have at least 9 to 12 years of hands-on, 9 to 12 months of hands-on experience. That is not necessary. After teaching a bunch of people this, you don't have to have 9 to 12 months of experience, but you do need to have some type of experience, some type of prior knowledge, have something else. This shouldn't be your starting point, like I said before. So A plus could be an awesome precursor to Network Plus, and it would make Network Plus a lot easier. And another thing is, I wouldn't want you to start with Network Plus, get an L, fail miserably, and in your journey there, I want to make sure that I set you guys up for success. So some of the skills that you really need to make sure that you pass the certification on the first try, hopefully, is networking concepts, IP addressing, routing, and switching. Be super familiar with network security, firewalls, and access controls, and the ability to configure and troubleshoot wired and wireless networks. And last but not least, the margin for error is pretty low on this certification. You got to get 720 out of a scale of 900, and you're going to have 90 minutes and a maximum of 90 questions on the exam. So the exam format is going to be a multiple choice, and you also have some performance-based questions that's going to show if you actually know how to do the job, if you were to get it, as opposed to just regurgitating information. So before we get into this, since I took time out of my day, my valuable day, to give you guys this value, before we get started, make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you like it. I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to like the video and tell me, are you working on Network Plus? You're going after A Plus? What are you doing? You can drop that in the comments while we wait. 3, 2, 1. All right, so this is going to be our first question. As you can see, it's pretty expansive and it's not going to be easy. So let's see how you do. A large enterprise has multiple branch offices that need high availability and fault tolerance in their network design. The network engineers have implemented a hybrid topology that combines mesh and star architectures to provide a balance between redundancy and efficiency. Despite this, network monitoring tools report intermittent packet loss and latency spikes, particularly when link in the mesh goes down. Further investigation reveals that the company's spanning tree protocol, or STP, implementation does not react quickly enough to topology changes, causing some segments of the network to become temporarily unreachable. Engineers are debating whether to implement rapid spanning tree protocol or implement a dynamic routing protocol such as OSPF. What is the best solution to optimize redundancy when minimizing downtime in the event of a link failure? Now I'll give you time to reread the question, look at the question, absorb the information, look through the answers, and pick the best answer. Then on the next slide, I'll actually break down the answer and why that is the answer. Like I said, just in case you never rocked out with us before, I'm not just standing here looking weird. I'm just standing here waiting for you guys to fully process the question and to also absorb that, man, this shit is going to be a lot harder than I thought it was. If this is the first question on your exam, probably going to have the bubble guts, want to run out the exam room, but we're going to try and prepare you as much as we can so you have confidence inside the exam room. Three, two, one. All right, so hopefully you guys picked implement rapid spanning tree protocol to accelerate convergence and prevent temporary network loops. So rapid spanning tree protocol reduces convergence time and ensures that redundant links activate faster when a failure occurs. So redundancy is always a good thing when it comes to networking and networks in general, just because if something goes down, you have a copy or a duplicate or a backup of whatever that system or device is, and it allows you to have redundancy and avoid shutdowns and breakdowns as much as possible. A multinational corporation is expanding its network and plans to gradually transition from IP version 4 to version 6. However, many of the company's legacy applications are version 4 dependent, and some of the core firewall and security appliances do not fully support version 6 filtering. The IT department is considering different transition mechanisms to maintain backward compatibility while preparing for a full version 6 deployment. One of the major concerns is addressing scheme incompatibility between version 4 and version 6, which prevents direct communication between version 6 only devices and version 4 only devices. The company also wants to minimize the overhead of NAT translation while ensuring that security policies remain intact. Which of the following strategies best addresses this challenge? Now, on the actual exam, my guys and my girls, they can decipher this information in 60 seconds. If it's taking you longer than 60 seconds to figure out an answer, most likely you're not ready to take the exam. 3, 2, 1. So for this, using dual stack, allowing devices to run both version 4 and version 6 would be the easiest. It's going to make sure that you don't have to be managing a bunch of different devices. Whether it's version 6 or version 4, it'll be able to rock out. So dual stack networking ensures that version 6 and version 4 devices can communicate without requiring translation or any type of tunneling. All right, gang, so as I stated before, I'm gonna be dropping a bunch of this type of stuff, right? I drop about 3 or 4 videos a week to make sure that I help you guys. So these videos are primarily for people who aren't quite ready to go through the pro program or aren't ready to go through the hero program. Let's say that you aren't ready for either of those just yet, right? You should be if you're watching this shit, to be honest. But let's say that you're not ready for either of those just yet. We also have, let's say that you just stumbled on this video by mistake. Like, damn, this shit is super hard. I ain't ready for none of this shit. And you don't know where to start, you don't know what to do. We also have an ITF Plus course or tech beginners course. That's all going to be in the description. All the ways that we can help you are going to be in the description. So if you come this far in the video with me, hopefully you found it valuable. Hopefully you know how to follow directions and you liked. Every time I told you to comment, you commented, and hopefully you are one step closer to becoming a student and really helping me help you get into tech. So other than that, man, I'll see you in class.